I'm at the Airdrie Bikes and Bulls event, being joined right now by a gentleman named Kyle, who is with a company called Lead Projects, and they're one of the major sponsors of the Airdrie Bikes and Bulls, and he also happens to be a contestant. So tell me, Kyle, a little bit about why you're involved with this event.
I've been riding bike for quite a while, and I just enjoy the atmosphere. I enjoy the people. My family's got some background in rodeo and things like that, so I like bikes and I like bulls. So bikes and bulls, how do you get better, right? So.
True enough. Now I understand you're a sponsor of this event as well. What do you sponsor?
Basically, what we did is we bought one of the packages that they offered, so that we could help kind of promote the event and get things going. So our company, League Projects, is we're an oil field service company. The Oilmen's Association they do a lot for the community. They do a lot for the industry. So we're sponsoring them as well as sponsoring the community of Airdrie. We've got people that live in and around Airdrie. So
it makes really, really good sense. And when you're a community-minded company, these kinds of philanthropic events really do go a long ways to the longevity of your own company. It seems like the more you give, the more you get.
Absolutely, and our company's always been, I've been with them 15 years. So it started small, you kind of know everybody's name and everything else, and it's got that family feel to it. And it's no different with a community. When you get into a community, if you fix something, if you help something, if you endorse something, if you sponsor something, it's not just helping one person, it's helping 30, 40 people. Maybe you don't know, maybe you do. And we have a logo, we have everything else, but that's not what it's about. It's about you come out, you're going to help somebody out, and down the road, absolutely, it's going to come around. So.
Well, and that's what good karma is all about, right? Yeah. And I mean, when you're a good person doing good things and putting good things out there, eventually those good things will come back to you. But that's not why anybody does what they do when it comes to giving to kids, helping out in their local community. I've heard your food bank really, really needs the support here, and that all of these causes are what this event supports.
Absolutely, and at the end of the day, that's basically what it boils down to. You don't do it because you expect something back. You do it because you're helping. You do it because you're capable and you're able to help, and that's what it is, right? We're a fairly large company by some standards and tiny company by other standards. So, we do what we can, and we've got an office in Brooks. We've got an office in Coronation. There's lots of different communities that we affect. We work all over Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, BC, all over the place. So, we're in and around a lot of communities. And if we go in and we leave a bad footprint, that has the same effect as going in and leaving a good footprint, except it's the opposite, right? Yeah. They don't want to see a logo with League on it. They don't want to see, those guys are here again. They trashed the whatever last time, or they were whatever. So, we want to leave a positive feel when we're in and around an area, because that's basically who we are. So.
Well, and there is the old saying that you really shouldn't crap where you eat, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right, because you got to eat there again tomorrow.
And the next day and the week after that and all of those other things. So bikers, bull riders, partying together. Tell me, what kind of an experience is that from your perspective?
It's been good. I'd step back and I'd like to see a little more of a blend, I guess, is the easiest way to explain it. But it's a good time. Like, bikers get together as a group. There's a lot of people don't understand it, but 95% of the rides that a guy goes on or a girl goes on or anybody else is, you pay your $40 for a poker hand, and at the end of the day, maybe you win $200, but every single event that's put on by that group is done for charity. It's done for the food shelter. It's done for whoever, right? The food bank, the women's shelter, the whatever in the area, whatever is near and dear to the organizer's heart in a way, right? So it's about riding the bike, but it's about more than that. That group gets together and they do that. And the Bikes and Bulls, the blend is not much different. It's a family event, which is different than a lot of the biker events in a lot of ways. And it's kind of tones down some of what the bikers are used to, but it also, it introduces, and I've loved rodeo since I was young. It introduces some of that aspect into a different culture, right? It's a bit of a blend in the cultures, but the mindsets are the same. A lot of the rodeos, when they go out and they do something like that, they are there to put on a show, but they're also there for the community. They're good for the community. They back up the community, and some of the other charities and everything else, they both have that common ground, right?
Yeah, and pro rodeo cowboys tend to do a lot of work for children. They tend to help out, and so there's that synergy. There's that mindset there, that meeting of the minds of the old Spock mind meld.
Exactly.
But from my perspective, I've been supporting Adrian and the Alberta or the Airdrie Oilmen's Association now for quite a while, and for me, this is my first time out to this event, and it's really interesting to watch all the children, the families, see all the giggling, the tossing around water balloons. It's a really, really wonderful atmosphere out there.
Absolutely, and last year was quite a bit bigger turnout for how many people showed up. I had talked to Adrian. I just met Adrian last year, and he's a really good guy. I talked to him a little bit earlier about the whole, the atmosphere with kids here, right? Compared to when you're a biker, you're not used to that type of a thing. When you go to bike rodeo, you just don't see it. It's not the way it is. And last year there was a couple things that were kind of, no, there's a line here, there's a line there, and way more people. And I discussed with him about the amount of people this year, and it's a really good event. Industry didn't help because Oilmen's Association, we're an oil industry. I'm in an oil industry, and it kicks around your budgets, it kicks around your sponsors, and everything's a little bit different. But he stepped up to the plate from the Airdrie Oilmen's Association, and they still did the event, even though they don't have the heavy sponsorship they're used to. So I hope it keeps going. I hope industry's on the uptick. We hope. So if it goes that way, I hope it keeps going.
I hope so too. When we come back, we'll take in some more Airdrie Bikes and Bulls. Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, home to the Cabot Trail and the Cape Breton Bike Rally. With some of the most magnificent riding and the friendliest of people one can find anywhere, Cape Breton is the runner-up community in Canada's most rider-friendly community contest. Visit CapeBretonBikeRally.com to find out why. I'm with Adrian Pruden. He is with the Airdrie Oilmen's Association, and we're here at the Airdrie Bikes and Bulls event. And Adrian, tell me, how the hell did you guys come up with this idea of combining a motorcycle rodeo and a bull riding competition?
Well, we have a group of oilmen, people in various people, business owners, sales guys, service hands, etc. We put on all these different events, and we had an idea back in 2011 of doing something other than a golf tournament and a few other things we were mulling around with. And we had one group of guys, about 4 or 5 of them wanted to do a motorcycle rally, and we had another guy, 2 or 3 guys that wanted to do a bull riding event. So we were sitting around the table and we said, you know what, why don't we do them both together and see what happens? And we're now rolling into year 7, and it's one. I don't think there's an event like this anywhere else, at least in Western Canada, that I've seen. So it's bringing the raw bulls and the bikes together. It's made for quite the interesting show, and we bring do our bike rodeo, bike games inside the arena with the bulls. So it's a different twist.
Yeah, it definitely is a different twist. I was speaking with Todd just a few minutes ago, and I was telling him a little bit about out in Falkland, BC, cowboys and bikers have been partying together for almost 100 years, thanks to the Falkland Stampede. And to see this whole spirit here in Alberta, but with such a different twist, there's no full-blown rodeo. This is just bull riders and bikers.
Yep, straight bull riding. And it's funny seeing all the leather and then all of the cowboy hats mixed together and guys mingling together. And we're getting, we get people from, especially on the bull riding side of things, coming in from Montana, Idaho, Washington. We've got people, the bike community coming from Grand Prairie, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, BC. It's really a nice meld, and people, they just love the event.
Yeah, and you know, I was watching the faces of all the kids out there, and they're just having a ball.
Oh yeah, no, it's we haven't always been a family-friendly event, obviously with the bike element and then the Cowboys. So we kind of opened it up to kids here last year. Had the water balloon fights and the whole 9 yards, and the kids just when they get out and see these bulls, they're just mesmerized. They're and of course what kid doesn't like a bike? I mean it's burnout competitions, and they're just sitting there with their tongues out going on.
Well, you know, next year you're just going to have to do a potato and haystack race.
I might have to do that. Well, you bring up next year, our big announcement that we're going to be making here shortly is we're making plans to actually move this event to the Airdrie Airport next year, which we're very excited about. Heading into our year 8, we're going to be opening up the runway for drag racing, and we're also going to be bringing classic cars in as well. So it's a lot better setup for the bikes, which is great, considering rodeo grounds and some dirt and gravel and whatnot. But yeah, pretty pumped on that.
Well, that's really great. Now, you guys serve a whole ton of Airdrie area charities. Let's talk about that for a minute, because that's an important aspect of what you guys do.
That's the reason we do everything. We've got five different events that we hold. Basically, we've got an event every couple of months. And the biggest thing, that being a bedroom community outside of Calgary, a lot of the money that gets spent for different charities usually goes into Calgary and gets distributed. We like to basically try and keep all the money that we raise through our events as Airdrie Oilmen in the city of Airdrie. We have 3 big charities in Airdrie, one being Community Links. We have the Airdrie and District Victims Assistance Society, and of course the Airdrie Food Bank. All 3 of those charities, they get limited funding from the government. They really have a minimal amount of opportunities and fundraisers that they can do on their own. They can only do so much, so we like to come in and help them out. We've also got Kids Sport, that the money we raise and donate to Kids Sport is pushed into the city of Airdrie. So, it doesn't get dispersed through Calgary. We've got an arrangement with them, and they're perfectly accommodating to keep the funds in our town, which is great. So